All right, Cole. So yeah, let's talk about your film. First off, I want to say that we at North Bellarine Film Festival really enjoyed the creativity and originality in your film. I think that was something that really stood out to us. I want to hear mainly where did your direction come from? What brought you to make this film?
I think originally the pandemic definitely brought on a lot of it. That came around when I was 2 years into my bachelor's degree of film. Everything sort of paused, but I didn't want to pause. So I started really just understanding, like, I've known for, I think directing is my thing, but I took the pandemic as a chance to learn how to edit. What goes into sound design for films and just a lot of other crew roles. I got to the point where I was just kind of just desperate to do something. At first, I was thinking, how could I make like a feature film with just me in obviously as few locations as possible? Basically, Fear Animus was a exercise, I guess, prove to myself that I'm capable of doing these things that I learned in practice.
Well, that's a great answer. That's a really good answer. Because I know personally, I wanted to explore the different roles that all went into it because it's not just the crew making the movie or the actors or the camera that it's captured on. It's the director, it's the producer, and learning to be in each process of making the film is it's really enlightening. You're saying you learned kind of sound design and editing. First off, let me just say you clearly nailed that in this film. You're making your own music for this film. Is music also like another passion that goes along with your film? Is this something you want to explore in the future?
Yeah, totally. It's something I want to explore. And it's mostly just been an interest
Mm.
um, for most of my life until, yeah, I started thinking about it really, like what goes into everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I loved every minute of it. Like um, learning music softwares and what different instruments sound like. When I'm thinking about ideas, I'm also thinking about music, and it's a good way to bounce ideas, I think.
Yeah, for sure. In many ways, the structures of music tie in with the structures of film in the sense of like a rhythm of a song is the plot playing out in a film. I can imagine you will have experienced a lot of struggles filming this yourself, like you said, experiencing different roles such as crew, editing. How long did it take you to make this film?
It took me maybe a month or two to come up with the idea and write it. In hindsight, that's the part that I wish I took more care with. I think I was more just so keen to bring out the cameras and the tripods and stuff. A month or two to come up with a real tangible idea. And
Mm.
then I shot it it was the first week of January this year. I basically just took work off for a week. I made sure I had no plans for a whole week, told all my housemates, you're probably not going to see me for a week. And I hired a camera and a couple of lights. I took the first day to test things. A lot of my approach to it was from an editing perspective. So
Mhm.
I was shooting a lot of wide shots with the intention on cutting in and cropping and creating pans and stuff within that. So then I can dictate a lot of how the story develops in the edit. Shooting wasn't so much of a intense risk. I think I planned that out in advance. And then it was maybe another 2 months of really putting together music and editing and learning new softwares, 4 or 5 months altogether.
Wow. Well, considering the quality of your work, 3 or 4 months isn't a long time, when it comes to making a film and, how good it was. And considering, you were exploring a lot of different options in this film that you're not used to, such as editing or crew and whatnot, you give yourself a pat on the back for that.
Thank you.
You mentioned that you wish you spent a bit more time on the writing process because you were so amped up to get into it. What would you say, without spoiling too much, obviously, what would you say you'd like to improve or you have learned to improve from this film?
I need to consider writing as a separate form of art in itself. I had all these scenes in my head as a director that I wanted in the film, and I was almost like reverse engineering it from there, kind of finding out how these scenes go together. In the future, I think I should have a strong foundation to start with, and then I can tamper with it all I like as long as I'm staying true to that idea. Maybe the biggest learning curve from this.
And I can understand that. I know, especially when I was in high school, my media teacher always said to me, the planning process is just as, if not more important than the actual process of filming and shooting and editing your film, because it's your foundation, it's your story, it's your plot, what you have to work upon. I completely get the imagery and the ideas of like, oh, I just want to do this. I can see this shot, and you've got a whole movie playing through your head, and you're like, yep, I know what to do. Like you said, that's a separate art form. It doesn't have to be a long process, but like you said, just a strong foundation. So yeah, it's a really good lesson to pick up. And honestly, I know we're all very keen to see what you'll be able to do with that knowledge in the future.
I feel it would be heartbreaking to come up with a really genius idea, say on set or in
Mm,
editing, but it's just not consistent with the writing, and you have to throw it aside. But if
yeah.
you took more time in writing, maybe that idea would find its way in.
Yeah, of course. Or, you'd be able to be necessarily more lenient in a way, blended in or fitted in some way. So you filmed this during COVID. Would you say resourcing for the equipment and the props you used in this film was difficult or not really?
It was really easy, honestly. I found some really cheap lights to purchase online, and I'm lucky enough to be living like in a city where there's camera rental places. While writing, I sort of spent a bit of money on lights. Once I had lights and tripods and like makeup and stuff sorted, I knew that the only expense after that was going to be a camera. And now I've got like three RGB panel lights sitting in my room just waiting for.
As a part of your film, you're inherently kind of doing almost a self-documentary in a way. Seeing you use the equipment and prepare the equipment as well, it's kind of a key part in your film. And I know personally, seeing it, I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have that stuff for myself. Setting up and working with that sort of stuff. I can imagine it just seeing there, you're like, oh, pumped and amped to work on your next project.
I'm so excited. Uh, I'm really excited, but I'm learning from Fear Animus. I'm in the writing stage at the moment. Every time I think I'm done, I put it down for a week, and then I
It,
think of how much I can improve upon it.
Yeah, that shows that clearly you've grown from this experience, and there's any right or wrongs in or mistakes necessarily, but there's obviously just improvements. Yeah, that's a really exciting. So would you say you started working on a new project?
Yeah, I have. Earlier this week, I finished my third draft of a feature script. I'm excited. I wrote it in a way which is meant to be very like low budget and realistic on a shoestring budget. And I'm so excited to send it out to send it to my friends, get some feedback, and start trying to round up a crew. But I have ideas in my head that aren't in the third draft, so that's gonna need a fourth.
Yeah. I mean, there's never enough planning, is there? So that's a good thing. So would you say because of so many ideas, you might possibly have multiple projects you want to be working on, or just the one?
It's honestly just the one.
Yeah.
I really can't stop thinking about. Once I gathered the original idea, it was more about exploring this world that it takes place in and who the characters are and um what the conflict is in the movie. And yeah, like I said, like every day that goes by, I think of something that makes it all a little bit stronger. And it I spent such a long time trying to come up with an idea that I can thrive off of. And now that I've got one, yeah, nothing else is in my mind.
Yeah, well, I can clearly see the excitement in your face when you're talking about this new project. I guess kind of bring it back to your current film. How do you feel about putting your film into our festival? What is kind of your hopes or opportunities that you think this festival might bring you.
Obviously, seeing it on a big screen in front of people will be
Is
cool. I've
Yeah.
only done that in front of a small group of friends so far.
Hmm.
So, for not only a potentially bigger group, but also strangers, will be,
Mm.
I think it'd be fun. And
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good opportunity for, yeah, to learn more.
Yeah. A
Um,
good learning experience. Yeah.
right. Also, I want to meet the other people there. I want to,
Yeah.
I want to expand my circle of filmmaker friends and, um, yeah, just meet people who are like-minded.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I know it's going to be interesting seeing all the other finalists there as well. Just meeting them, us as committee members, we're very excited to be meeting all of yous because, we hope to bring a platform for young creatives such as yourself. We're kind of hoping that it's going to be a real community hub where people can network, and we really hope that brings that for you.
Yeah, great. I'm
Mm.
excited and I'm going to be doing my best at socializing.
I
Yeah.
love
I,
that. Yeah.
I haven't, I don't, I mean, I've volunteered at MIF a couple of times, but I haven't really like taken time off to go to like dedicate towards exactly this. And
Yeah.
I'm, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. And from the way it sounds, it's your first kind of like experience like this. And I know going to events such as this is a really big opportunity because you're networking, you're seeing your film on the big screen. It's pretty exciting. I can't. I'm sure everyone's going to be looking forward to seeing your film on the big screen. Well, it was very nice talking to you, Cole. It's nice seeing the insight towards you and your personality and your work as a creative. So thank you so much for this chat. And I'll see you at the festival.
That's okay. All right. I'll see you then.
No worries.